Oh, hello, my friends. Welcome to Lipstick and Lap Times, the first one of very many. I am your host, Kimberly Robinson, and I am here to give raw truth and funness to every woman, man, no matter what you want to say. The reason by the way, I am your Mrs. USA 2026 also. The reason I started this was because I wanted to give a platform to anybody that had a story to be able to speak about it and speak about their truth, speak about their love, speak about their past, and to make sure that they're in a safe place and they know that they can speak whatever they want to do. And today's guest is
Annika.
Annika.
Yes.
Annika, I met at a convention in Salem, No Girl Left Behind. She was one of our guests, and she came up to me after and said, I really appreciate your story. And you were open and honest. And my stories, for some people that don't know, is that I have been through domestic violence, sex trafficking, drug addiction. I was a mother at 17 years old. You name it, it's been there. It has been a struggle, but I am now a grandmother, a mother, a nurse, an entrepreneur, a nonprofit founder. I own a business, Skin Aesthetics and Laser, right here in Tigard. And I know there's going to be a lot of people watching from overseas. We are from Oregon. So all of us are from Oregon, somewhere, someplace.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll be doing different guests from all over the world. But today, my guest, she is beautiful and amazing. And she reached out to me after I got to speak to her at the convention. And she told me her story that she went through being in a cult as a kid and surviving. And she really wants to speak about it. And I want to give her that platform to do it. I love you.
Here. I love you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being here. You're amazing. Before we get into it, I'm gonna give your hand. Before we get into it, I want to tell you guys why. Gosh, this is our first one. It's a little cricket in here. Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna move the camera just a tad, guys. Oh no, that's not good. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Charles, go ahead. Wave to the friends. He's the one that hooked us up. We thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Today, I wanted you guys, the reason I started this, another just being Mrs. USA, the reason why is because I've been through a lot. And I want these women, men, I don't care who you are, whatever your sex, your gender is, I want you to have a platform to speak to anybody in the way you want to speak. This is not a place that we are speaking down upon people or scandalous or just, this is a place where we're going to speak our truth. So in some ways, it's going to be affecting you or heartfelt, or if you feel something negative about it, please, you can put in the comments. We will comment back to it, but please, this is a safe place for everybody. So this is a place where you can hear and you can listen. And I think everybody's going to really resonate with anything, no matter what it is. And the reason I call it Lipstick and Lap Times is because I'm in the beauty industry. I own a medical spa as well as I'm Mrs. USA 2026, but I'm also a race car driver. I'm breaking barriers for women in the race car industry or just the car industry. And I've been doing this for years. And my husband and I both race for not just cancer awareness, but I race for domestic violence. Break the Chain is who I race for, one of my sponsors. So I'm very proud. And if you guys get an opportunity to go out to Woodburn Drag Strip, that is our home drag strip in Woodburn, Oregon. But we travel all around the world to go race for cancer awareness as well as domestic violence, and addiction awareness. So on to our note and to our guest. I'm blessed to have her here. She's amazing and beautiful. She's going to tell us her story. And first thing I would love you to do is just tell me a little bit about yourself and just you in general.
Yeah, current day, I am a mom to a beautiful 4-year-old daughter. I'm a seamstress. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got my hands kind of in everything. I'd like to call myself a creative. I love the modeling industry, the fashion industry, and just working on projects here and there that resonate with me. I'm starting a book, I'm writing a book about my story. And I was like, I've been on a few cult podcasts, never live though, never in person. So this is fun. And I've been able to share my story. And then having said that, there's a few parts I have not shared. And there's a lot of guilt and shame around it. And I was like, I need to get this public because I have been shamed by other people for the things that I went through and the choices I made after I got out of the cult. But I've never been able to stand proudly and say, this is who I was, this is what I went through, and this is what I've overcome, and this is how you can overcome. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to tell my story, because I want to help people that have been through situations similar to myself, that they can see the light and the way out and make decisions maybe similar, hopefully to find a path to follow that they might not have otherwise hadn't they heard my story.
I love that. And I really praise you because that's very brave of you.
Yeah.
You're I love you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing that. And for you as a woman doing that, it's going to break barriers for other women that are going to recognize what you're doing and to give back. So I was in Vegas. I grew up in Vegas at times and not times, excuse me, during my 20s. And I met a gal at the strip club that was part of a cult that was across seas. And she told me a lot about her stuff. And the cult was actually on TV. And I could see in her heart and a lot of things she talked about that she was never really whole as a person, that it just bugged her and it took her down. And I feel like she didn't have that platform to be able to talk about it, but she would tell me about it. And I never grew up in a super religious family. We were Christians, but I didn't really have to go to church and do those things. And a cult could be so many different things, right? It could be a religious cult. It could be different things. And I'm not super educated on it, so I can't really speak about it. But I would really love for you to tell everyone about your survival and how this started and what you remember. And I want you to be as open as you want to about it. Because I feel that if we hide things as people and don't talk about it, like, for example, I said, hey, one of my ex-husbands called my daughter, I hope you die, you fat bitch, right? That's the truth. I want you to be honest and open about these things that recognizing those cues and recognizing the things that you need to do. So the platform is yours, and please feel free to stop or do whatever you need to do, but I would love to hear more.
Okay. So starting in it, I mean, I was born in it. My dad was born in it. My mom ended up marrying my dad, ended up getting in it as well. I was born in it. It's a high control religion. I call it a cult because they're very isolating to, like, not communicating with outside people, not being friends with people outside of the religion. And then if you leave, you get ostracized, you get isolated. Family can talk to you, but it's a bit discouraged. So I grew up in it from, 0 to 18. It's all I knew. And my earliest memories was of, just sitting in church, curled up, and the pastor yelling, a lot of yelling. And it was my normal going to church, 3, 4, 5 times a week. And I'm not saying that's, necessarily a negative thing, but with as much control, like having to ask for permission to leave town, permission to move, different things like that to the pastor, that's replacing him with God, basically. And that's what happened, is he became a form of what he considered to be God.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you willing, able to tell me where you lived?
Yeah, I lived in Kaiser. So It's not
Kaiser,
Oregon. So it's not far from here. It's not far from what you would expect. And you see people and you don't think every day, like, everyday people, run-of-the-mill people might be in something so contained. And so basically, I grew up in a box, and from 4th grade to 12th grade, I was in the private school that they pretty much guilted the parents into having their kids grow up in. And that's where I would say a majority of the abuse happened. Um, but a lot of my memories were fear growing up, fear of this, fear of a lot of fear input. And growing up as a child, they would do this fast once a year for 3 or 4 days. And I would be scared to eat and I would be hungry. And this is kind of hard to talk about, but
Do we have any tissue?
the longest we went was 4 days. But I remember as a child, we would do this fast and then we would do communion. And, it was taught that if you didn't do the fast correctly, you were, in disobedience to God, blah, blah, blah. And so I would be scared to eat and I would be sad that I was hungry because I was scared to go to hell. And so they would having that, annually year after year. And there's a lot of other stuff that I'm not even going to dig into, but some highlights of that were mostly just a very fearful childhood. And one of my wounds that I've been working through is visibility. Because in therapy, they're like, how do you see yourself as a child? I'm like, curled up, curled up and small. And probably the freshman or sophomore year is when like a lot of my issues started. In the school, I was having trouble. It was a very, very strict school. They measured the lengths from your skirts to the ground to make sure they were appropriate. I mean, very, very, like I wore the wrong shoes once. The pastor's wife said I look like a hooker, like just extremely high control. And they made me stand facing the wall for detention. I was a good kid for 2 hours every single week for like 3 months straight. And at one point I ended up passing out and we couldn't move, mind you. So you couldn't like scratch your head. You couldn't move. You couldn't look left or right. You had to stand perfectly still against the wall. And I remember passing out and, no one was informed. My parents, I told my mom, but like no one was informed. No medical came. And then, year after that, I passed out because of the fast. No medical. They prayed for me and I got back up and continued doing what I had to do. And what that turned into as an adult that I had realized is having trouble asking for help and expressing my needs because they weren't heard. They weren't allowed to be heard and they were punished. But I'm working through those, and those were like, I would say the biggest highlights were like just high control and the abuse that went on and mostly the abuse that I witnessed because I just tried to stay as perfect as possible. Obviously that goes on to being a perfectionist as an adult, looking for outside validation, looking for someone to tell you what to do, ending up in controlling situations. And I was 16 and I discovered the gym. Well, I discovered that I had some weight to lose. And then I was like, Mom, why didn't you tell me? I was a little bit, and she's like, oh, you're good. You're healthy. And I was like, well, I'm going to join the gym. And fitness saved me. The gym saved me. I started going there. I'd wear my long skirts and my long sleeves and my hair in my bun. And I ended up meeting actually a coworker of my dad's at the time. And he goes, why don't you ever do Zumba? And I was like, well, we're not allowed to dance or play sports or anything else, outside of the religion. And he's like, oh,
Can I ask you another question? I don't mean to interrupt. What religion is it?
It was Pentecostal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your nationality is?
I'm French and Irish, but I was born American.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was like, oh, that's kind of like, why wouldn't you be allowed to dance? And he was very surprised. And I was like, shouldn't I be surprised at this? Because why is everyone dancing and I'm not allowed to? And I started thinking, and obviously I'm also in the midst of serving this detention week in, week out, standing facing the wall, dealing with witnessing everything that I've been witnessing. And I started thinking, and I was like, I have to get out of here. And, it was to the point, and like, this is over a span of a couple years. I decided to leave. I was just going to play it cool until I was 18. I could leave. And by the time I was 18, I was suicidal and, just ready to give up on everything. And my grandma, bless her heart, was not a fan of the church situation, which is my mom's mom. And my sister had gotten out by then. And I used my email and her phone, created an email because I had no access. We weren't allowed to have internet. We had no access to outside. I had no phone. And I was like, hey, Grandma, I need help. I need to move out. I need to get out. And at the time, my sister had allowed me to move in. So I wrote a letter. I wrote a long letter to my parents. I said, this is not, like, I'm still your daughter, but this is not for me. And I need to leave before something happens. And my grandma came, she got my stuff, and she moved me out. And like, I'm telling you this story, and this part of the story is so important because all it takes is finding one person outside of the cult to help you. Make one friend, frequent one place.
You had your grandma, and that's huge.
I had my grandma.
That's,
Yeah.
That's very rare. And you're,
Yeah.
I don't want to say lucky, but in almost a way from knowing people that were in cults, they don't have anybody, So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. So she helped me, and like, bless her heart, because she saved me and she helped me. And shortly after I got out, my parents actually left, and, thankfully,
Are you a part of their lives anymore?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different dynamic, I would say, but there's something that I learned that is, I would say, stronger than forgiveness, and that's acceptance.
Amen, sister.
Because there's a lot of things that I can't forgive. And I don't think that I need to, but I can accept, hey, this is my upbringing, this is what happened, and this is how I'm going to choose to move forward. And that puts the responsibility, and that puts the ball in my court, versus giving somebody power and just being like, okay, well, it's all gone. It never happens. And living from that mindset, I think, has been a lot more powerful for me. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know that you're doing the right thing, and giving them power is not the right place, but you are, just like you said. I know I kind of interrupted your story, but if you want to finish it, but for you to be a part of your parents' life is kudos and recommendation, because some people wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Acceptance on that. Even you just, I mean, to me, you're just like the higher, better person in this whole situation. What made you, and I think we're going to finish the story. What made you leave? What was that thing that clicked in your head that you knew, I'm done. This is not it. Other than we talked about the gem, but you knew that I'm leaving. Did you leave at 18? You said till 18.
Yeah, but
Did you stay there? Did you, what, other than your grandma, like what was it other, your grandma, was there something in your heart or your head that was like, this is not right?
Well, a lot of it was the personal abuse I experienced. The past, a lot of it happened in such a short amount of time. And this mostly happened between 16 and 18, was the passing out, going days without eating. And all of it it didn't seem like natural to me to do these things. It seemed like I was doing them because I had to. And my big thing is when I passed out because I was standing there for 2 hours. Like, as a 16-year-old girl, like, if you could imagine yourself as a teenager, what were you doing? Well, probably not serving attention for 2 hours facing a wall. And those things piled up, watching other children, like, just heartbreaking. One child would throw up every time he got in trouble because the consequences were so scary for him. that became his normal. Like that was his nervous system. And seeing other kids, and even my sister got bullied very, very badly, and mostly having a lot of trauma surrounding even just witnessing what I was witnessing. It just didn't seem right.
Yeah. I got a question because I'm not too familiar with it. In the Pentecostal church, you said not eating. Is this a part of the religion?
See, this is the thing about the Pentecostal religion is everyone has different, I guess, varieties of what they think is good and what they will do, because to me, well, they call themselves Christians. So when I got out, I thought all of the Christians were those, and there was no other like denomination really, because they said they were the true Christians. And so, as far as I was concerned, no one else was. But then I met other Christians who were very, very different than the ones I grew up with, and I was like, well, then who's the real Christian here? And then I was like, okay, well, probably not the people who are being abusive and controlling. So I don't even remember what question you were asking.
Oh, it was about the food intake.
Oh,
so is it
yeah,
part of your fasting?
I don't
Like,
know if every I think it was just the church that I was in, because it was the church specifically that I was in. They were able to congregate with like one or two other churches, but they were very much kept to themselves.
So you guys wouldn't eat for a certain period of time?
So we'd have to not eat anything for 3 to 4 days.
Okay. So it's like a fasting period.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you drink water?
We were able to drink water.
And other things for nutrients that you could do?
No, just water.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that being really hard, especially as a child.
Yeah.
You need those nutrients.
I couldn't imagine my daughter telling me that she was hungry and not feeding her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more about, I'm trying to understand as far as the fasting, and then why would they put you in the quarter for hours?
So that had to do with the school. So the
Okay.
school they very much was like, hey, you need to be raising your children in the school because public school's bad, blah, blah, blah. And so they would, sit there and we would be in these cubicles and just very, very well behaved, doing everything perfectly as far as they're concerned. And then if you made minor mistakes, they'd add up a tally. You make 3 mistakes, you get detention. And that's in a day. So, but the mistakes are as simple as if you complete a page, you have to circle the page. If you forget to circle it, that's a mistake. I started getting behind in one of my courses as a teenage girl, and I was having trouble catching up. And all of those catch-up days were adding up, and they would add up to 2 hours of detention each week. And instead of helping, they're just like, all right, serve your time. But that didn't help during the day when I was struggling. So that happened for about 3 months straight. And I'm trying to remember, I think it was more towards the end. I think it was more towards like right before I turned 18 when I was able to leave, that period was happening, that I was just like, no. And
then the school you went to was a Christian school?
It was the school within the church. So it was at the church.
Okay.
And they only allowed the kids that went to the church in the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you guys learn, and what did they teach inside that school?
It was academics, a lot of forced memorization for the Bible. And here's another example is if you didn't do it correctly, you'd get in trouble. If you didn't recite it correctly, you'd get in trouble. But they would do academics mixed with the doctrine. So we still learned, and it was accredited. So like luckily I was able to grow up and get a job outside.
So you officially graduated?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I went to almost my graduate, like 3 months before I graduated. And I was like, I'm out. And I went immediately got my GED. Yeah. But I would have been there was only like 22 students in the class. So I would have been the only one in my graduating class.
Yeah. How was your relationship? That's a really good bring up right there. Your relationship with the other students. Did you have friends? Did you have others that thought about the same way that you did? Did they know that was wrong? Do you have brothers and sisters that, when you left that were still younger that wanted to not be a part of it?
So my sister was the one who kind of paved the trail for me to get out. She's 6 years older than me. I don't have any siblings younger. And unfortunately, the way things went, if you left the church, no one was allowed to talk to you. So when I was 18 and I left, everybody that I knew, 80 people that I knew that I spent every single day with my entire life with, never spoke to them again.
Mhm.
My parents, in the first few months was rocky because I was transitioning, spoke to my sister. We no longer speak because of her issues. But my family, like my blood family, I don't barely know. I talk to like an uncle and an aunt every now and again. I have lots of cousins and uncles and aunts, but we weren't involved with them because they didn't meet the requirements of their religion.
Mhm.
And so I had one really good friend within the cult who's no longer, thank goodness. And I didn't even let her know I was leaving because the way the fear ran so deep within the congregation from the pastor, they would have told immediately. So I couldn't tell anybody inside. I had to keep that to myself. And then when it happens, everyone was shocked and surprised. But, I had to do me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, what is your support system right now?
So that's a big one and what I wanted to talk about. Because
Yeah, let's
had
do
I
it.
had a support system,
Mhm.
I mean, we're groomed in that church to be young, married, several babies by the time you're 20, 22. And so what I saw my future as is I'm going to be stuck here, with, a traditional family, which is good for some people, not so good for others. And so when I got out, I was like, okay, so the thing I'm supposed to do is get a boyfriend. Well, what do you think is going to happen when you have no knowledge of internet safety,
Mhm.
of any of the outside world and how the social interactions? I was so socially shocked. People would talk to me that didn't go to the church and I look at them like,
Right.
yeah. And so
Two different worlds.
I got
Yeah.
myself in some bad situations.
Mhm.
I ended up dating a convicted rapist, had no idea until his PO called saying, hey, do you know this guy's got, he used the last name and I thought I was doing my due diligence. Nothing popped up on the false name he gave me. And I ended up raped, sexually assaulted several times. And these things could have been prevented had I had a support system. I ended up in controlling really abusive relationships. And then, later on a stripper pole. So by the time I was 21, I was partying every day, doing drugs, just an absolute mess. And that's the part of the story that I've yet to tell anybody, that I've yet to make public, especially something as serious as, sexual assault and rape. It wasn't easy. And so I fell on my face over and over and over. And I learned the hard way how to start trusting my intuition and how to start saying no and to stop people pleasing.
Mhm.
Because to go back to the person that I dated that was a convicted rapist, I met him online. I met him in person. I immediately got sick to my stomach. That was my intuition saying, hey, this isn't right. But all I knew and all I was taught was listen to men. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Men first, men first, men first. Listen. And so I kept listening to all of these men who did not have my best interest and putting myself in situations that were dangerous. And thankfully I'm still alive. I'm still well, but it's taken some therapy and some inner work for sure.
And we get deep into that. And talking about this is a part of healing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In that situation and moving forward in your life and finding that those relationships are toxic and not really understanding and knowing, even though you were in a cult, it's still a part of growing up too.
Yeah.
Is there things that you feel that you might want to say or talk about just to inform other women and to let them know, or just something that's going to help with your heart and releasing it? Because I know that talking about this is a part of healing, and this is one of the reasons why I created this platform.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is what you said at the No Girl Left Behind event was becoming the person that you needed when you were younger. Because I did not have anybody,
A mentor?
a mentor,
Yeah.
someone who's out spreading awareness. Because there could be someone with access to the internet listening to this right now dead in the middle of a cult or a high
Mhm.
control religion, wanting out and not having ideas or clues of which step to take. And that's why I'm going to be writing my book. And that's why I'm on this podcast, because I need other people to be aware that you see people out in public. And if you see them even dressed a little different, it might not be their choice.
Mhm. Mhm.
And now I think that's why I celebrate fashion so much, is because the freedom of dress is huge for me. It runs deep.
Mhm.
And I grew up sewing my own clothes.
I love that.
I was
So you're a
self-taught.
designer. That's
I
me,
have.
girl, too. I'm like put together something. I'll go like to the store. Like I'm the designer. You're definitely, and this, we're gonna just break this little chain for just a minute. She is totally high fashion, height, and model all the way, all the way. I know I have 3 years. I'm 45 now. Just turned 45 on Friday. Have done so many runways and all this stuff. But like today, I feel like I celebrate more of my own fashion
Mhm.
and how I express it. And I feel like for you in sewing, you're expressing you as a woman,
Mhm.
as a personality,
Yeah.
as your own vision. And I
Mhm.
love that. So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
and I
you're
want to
good. You're good.
congratulate you on that because that is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride because I went from, sewing my own clothes, putting it down. I was like, I'm never doing that again. Limited to what I was allowed to wear.
Mhm.
And then getting out, ended up, becoming an adult entertainer and then bartending for a long time, selling cars. And now I'm back being a seamstress and I work for a larger company.
Yeah.
And I don't do like clothing designs per se, but here and there I'll make a little something.
Yeah.
And it's
I love
wonderful. And
that.
just being able to express and like being able to wear makeup and have my hair
Mhm.
styled however I want, like that is just such a huge expression of my huge passion of mine because, a bird doesn't know it's free if it's born in a cage until
Yeah.
it flies out. And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, options. So that's part of what saved me was finding the fashion community when I was young too. But unfortunately that goes into, photographers who also don't have your best interests.
Sure.
And
And that the women I'm going to tell you right now, you should be aware of that and you should do your research no matter what it is.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a
And
good
then be very cautious when people online or ask you to model for them or do anything. You need to bring somebody with you. It is a big thing and it's a very big thing, especially in high fashion or in just that world in general.
Yeah, yeah, because there's photos online I wish I could take down,
Mhm.
but signed a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of lessons learned on that too. But being able to find a community when you get out of the cult, find a hobby, find
Mhm.
something that interests you, particularly one that you weren't allowed to do,
Mhm.
like
Like, what
modeling.
did you do?
Modeling.
Okay.
I was like, what? I can dress up in whatever and take pictures?
And I could totally see that.
Yeah.
You are that. So I love it.
Thanks. Doing that and like just getting into that space. I've made so many
Mhm.
friends, so many connections. Or, if you like bowling, find a bowling team. Something
Oh,
that
I love bowling. Let's bowl together.
I'm
Do you
not
like
so
bowling?
good. No.
Neither
When
am
I have
I, but
nails,
it's okay.
when I have nails, I was like, no, and then I blame it on my nails. But yeah, that's what I would say. My biggest thing is just find a community. And
Yeah.
that's when I moved to Portland. I was around 20.
Yeah.
I moved to Portland. I wanted to, erase my
Are
memories.
you in Portland right now?
I'm in Hillsboro.
Okay, so you went to
ish.
Salem for that, and I love that I love that you transitioned. And I'm
I
not
had
saying
to.
anything bad. I'm going to say it though. You have to get out of your element to be able to grow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a small town in Salem. It's a small town in general. Everybody knows everybody, but you have to be out of your element and you have to think worldly.
Yeah.
It is your oyster,
Mhm.
right? And I love that
Mhm.
you moved.
Yeah. And I was like, well, first of all, aside from the memories
Mhm.
and why I returned to Salem is because it doesn't hold power for me anymore.
Yeah.
And I've healed from that. And before I'd be like, no, I don't want to go to Salem. Like it just bad memories everywhere. And now I go back there and I'm like, I'm going to create new memories and the person who I am today
Mhm.
versus who I was and not let that filter give any power. And so, and obviously Marissa, because she's great.
Yeah.
So I had to return and say hi to
Hey,
her.
shout out. No girl left behind. Whoop, whoop. So let's do this. What brings you joy today?
First and foremost, obviously, my little girl.
How old
Because she's 4
Oh.
and watching her grow up so different
Mhm.
from how I was raised. So different. And not having that fear and having that power. And she's a redhead and she's fiery and her name's Vivian. She's lively. And
Vivian?
yeah. She's just, and she knows who she is.
Yeah.
And I was like, and watching that is so healing for me.
Nice.
Because I see her speak freely and move freely and put on her jewelry and mom and do my hair like this, like that. And like, I'm not micromanaging anyhow. How she wants to be is how she is. And being accepted fully.
Yeah.
Like it heals me.
And you're her role model, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's going to look at you and be like, oh, this is what I want to be like, or this is what I want to do. Or, is dad in life?
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Even better.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah. They have a great relationship. So yeah, it's great.
I love that. What do you do for what's your favorite self-care?
Oh my gosh, a good massage.
A good
massage.
Do you go somewhere particular to get a massage?
Yes, and you would be surprised. On 82nd in Clackamas, there's this place called Lemon Tea, and I've had a lot of massages, but no one can do it like these ladies.
That's a shout out for you gals right there.
I'm telling you, no one can do it. I love to go to the gym, and so like my self-care is the gym. But like if I want to unwind and relax, I love to read. I love to do massages, facials, all of the good, pretty stuff that pretty girls like to do.
So since you decided to make that stand and leave the situation, what was the one thing that always was your rock that you knew you had to keep going forward and not give up? Like, what was your rock? Because obviously you didn't have your daughter then.
Yeah.
Your grandma could have been, but
She
what
ended up
was
passing,
your
actually.
What was the one thing that you mentally or physically or whatever it was that kept you going?
So this isn't going to be a positive thing necessarily, but it's knowing I don't have anyone else to fall back on. It's me and I got me.
Amen.
And that's
that was mine, girl.
Like literally I have no choice. And it's up to me to create my own destiny, my own choices, because I don't have a backup plan. I don't have someone that's going to save me. So,
and so, it's going to make you indestructible.
Yeah.
Just so you know, you can do whatever you want forever because of that mentality. So amen to you, sister. You're not going to stop.
Yeah.
I can already tell. You're going to keep going forever. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you to be my friend.
Yes.
Let's do some fun stuff. I did do some, I just want to do fun things a little bit before I don't even know what is our time on here. Who wants to watch for an hour, but we can do a funny joke. I love the story. I just love the story. And I'm so blessed to have you in my life now. And I'm so glad that you reached out to me. And I was so happy that I can inspire you. And that was my main goal, just as a woman in general, because like I said, I didn't have a mentor either. And to give that back to somebody else and to be able to tell their story is going to be a huge thing, because you're going to be doing that for the other women too as well. And that's called a chain, and that's called success, and that's called creating a movement, What does living authentically mean to you?
So as of late, that has been my motto.
I love
and that. Growing up as a perfectionist, having to perform, having to be perfect, living authentically is showing my messy self without apology.
I love it.
Yeah.
See?
And so not being perfect in everything I do, but just making that step and taking that step to me, and whatever resonates, whatever feels right is living authentically to me.
You know what? There's a reason why you're here. This is why I created that.
Yeah.
This is why I created this right here, my friends, because I want women like this, or men, or whoever they are, to be able to speak authentically about their experiences. And I think you're the perfect first guest, because this is how we should be, because we need to bring awareness to anything that might be. I obviously your daughter probably brings you joy today, and your family. Is there anything that you feel that you want to give our first audience, ever audience, and this is going to be worldwide, just FYI, do you want to tell anybody? Because I do know from experience in my life that I've met other women that have been in cults that were sexually involved and things like that, that were very, I mean, the whole thing is sad. And I never experienced that, so I can't speak upon that. But I feel that you as a woman, or just in general experience that, could give some insight or some hope to others across the world. And what would you like to say to them?
I would say, this is going to sound hating, but I'm going to say, because it's my authentic self, is to decenter men as a woman and build yourself up and heal before seeking for permission or anything outside of yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Well, thank you. Everything you've overcome. One more thing. What message do you want the listeners to leave with tonight, other than what you just said? Something positive, something amazing. So give these women out here. They need you.
Yeah.
They need you. What do you have to say to them?
I would say take that step, even if it's scary. And if your legs shake and if your voice shakes, take that step, because it's how you build confidence. It's how you build power within yourself and self-trust.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you, friends, for being here and doing our first podcast of many. I'm so excited. So listen, this is our first. The next one's going to be next month. And it's going to be Jamie Marvelous, our Ms. Canada. She is so funny. She's hilarious. She's one of my sash sisters. I met her in New York. She's goofy. She's like on Broadway, and she's all, oh, and she'll do all these, like, she's also, what is that called when you're 1 2 3 3 3 4 4 4? What is that called?
I don't know this.
What is that called, you guys? When you're raffling off stuff, or just like auctioneer. She's an auctioneer. She's actually an auctioneer, and she's an actress. She is so amazing. I love her. She's going to talk about her life in Canada, her experience with Queen of the World, being an auctioneer, and then just anything raw, whichever wants to talk about. But I want to give this platform to everyone here. I want you guys to reach out. If you want to speak about something you've been through, you just want to talk in general, it's open to anybody and everybody. You can reach out at mrskimberlyrobinson.com. This is Lipstick and Lap Times at YouTube. You can also reach out there and comment as well. And then my IG hashtag is mrs.usa.2026. Do you want to tell anybody your information?
Annika_Cherie_official.
Okay. And then I want a big shout out. Come over here, Charles. To my friend Charles, my new friend now. I just met him today. He's hooking this whole plate thing up. He's amazing. What I want to do say is that I don't know him very well, but I just met him. He's a cool entrepreneur, and I love what he's doing for Portland. Cheers to that. Growing up in Vancouver. And do you want to say anything?
Oh, I'm happy to be here. You all did a great job.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and watch out for the fashion shows he's going to be putting on.
Summer Glow Fashion Show.
Summer Glow Fashion Show. Actually, one of my gals from New York.
Casting's on the 31st.
Casting's on the 31st, on May 31st. So that is this Sunday. If you any models, you guys want to hang out? I mean, are you looking for fashion designers too?
We have enough.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, there's that many here in Oregon?
We want sponsors there.
Oh, so sponsors.
People involved in fashion, people who want to help and volunteer, you're open to come.
Yeah, volunteer, fashion, sponsors. It sounds like a fantastic thing. I actually had a gal reach out for me from New York. I was looking at it, and she's actually sent me your information. And I was like, oh, man, this is reaching out there. You're doing good. Proud of you, especially from Oregonian to Oregonian. I'm proud of you. You make some things. So, hey, love you guys. Till next time, I'll see you next week. You guys have a fantastic week and weekend. Lipstick and Lap Times. In stream.